thing, guys. Kids, you remember Frankenstein? Count Dracula? Hello, kids. Y'all are just in time. 10 Commandments. Here we go. Commandments. 10 Commandments. 1, have no other gods before me. 2, don't bow to man-made things. I'm gonna sing. 3, don't misuse God's name. 4, don't forget the Sabbath, make it a habit. 5, honor your parents, Clarence. 6, do not kill, it's God's will, Jill. And keep 7, don't commit adultery. 8, take it, Frankie. Covet. What is covet? I'm not sure. The 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. Even on your best behavior. 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. And that's why we need a savior. All right. Kids, you ready? Yeah. Remember, we're just counting to 10. 1, have no other gods before me. 2, don't bow to man-made things. I'm gonna sing. 3, don't misuse God's name. 4, don't forget the Sabbath, make it a habit. 5, honor your parents, Clarence. 6, do not kill, it's God's will, Jill. And keep 7, don't commit adultery. 8, take it, Frankie, and the count. 10, do not covet. Seriously, what is covet? I want to stop doing it. The 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. Even on your best behavior. 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. And that's why we need a savior. The 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. Even on your best behavior. 10 Commandments. No one can keep them all. 10 Commandments. And that's why we need a savior.
Mr. Count Dracula, sir?
Yeah, small person.
Coveting is wanting something that's not for you. Just be grateful for what you have.
Oh, so be grateful for my shiny black cape. Yeah. And do not covet, say, Frankenstein's sweet new monster mobile. Have you seen it? Oh, it is something special. I want to take it for a test drive. Do not steal.
So today we're going to be making shrinky-dink keychain signs. So in the Bible, God talks about his 10 commandments. And when you're going down the road of life, you see road signs all along the road going into your future. So we're just going to show you guys little examples of how you can follow them. And so you're going to get your shrinky-dink paper, some Sharpie markers, some scissors, and an adult with you to help you out, and those are all things that you need. So we're going to be making road signs. You can make any road sign that you want. So with your piece of paper, you want to make it really big, so then when it shrinks, it'll be about the size of half a piece of paper like you want it to be. So we're going to just start this out. Here's mine. You can add little shapes and things on it to decorate. And then when you're done, you can take a hole puncher or have an adult help you with a hole puncher to make a little hole at the top if you're going to turn it into a keychain. So after you've cut them out or had an adult help you cut them out, you're going to place them on your pan lined with some aluminum foil. You're going to have your adult preheat the oven to 325, and then when it's ready, you're going to put them in there for 2 to 3 minutes.
once your plastic has cooled off, get your little key ring and poke it through the hole.
So this is what they're supposed to look like. Now you have your own little keychain.
Hey guys, welcome to day 3 of our virtual VBS and our 3rd Word from the Word video. Now I hope that you enjoyed the song earlier singing about the 10 Commandments and that your Shrinky Dinks turned out okay. I know I had some problems putting them together, so if yours didn't turn out quite right, it is okay because ours did not turn out right the first time either, so don't worry about it. If you guys remember what we talked about in our 2nd video, the most recent one, we were talking about vines and branches and fruit and all this kind of, ways to find good apples. And if you remember why we were talking about all these things, we were saying how Jesus is like the vine, like a tree, and we are like branches. And we were made to be connected to the vine so that we could bear fruit. But sin has come along and it's broken our branch off of the vine so that we are dead and we can't live out this purpose that you and I have, which is life with God. And so something has to be done to restore us, to make us right with God again. And we said that that was going to be a big question to ask. It was going to take 2 videos, which I'm holding up 4 fingers, but it's 2 on both hands, so we're good. And we're going to talk about the first part of that answer on Word from the Word today. Okay, so we've been talking about this idea that sin breaks us apart from God. So, how do you fix something that's broken? Like, what do you guys use at home? Sometimes I use tape just to try to put 2 pieces back together, and I love duct tape. I think duct tape can fix just about anything. So I love to use duct tape to fix stuff. But sometimes tape doesn't work. Sometimes you need to use string, like you have to tie 2 things back together. And sometimes when you really need something to be strong and you can't have tape or string hanging out everywhere, you have to use glue. And there's a bunch of different types of glue that you can use to fix things. But have you ever broken something that couldn't be fixed? Because that's the type of brokenness that sin creates in our lives. It's a brokenness we can't fix. I was playing volleyball with some friends about 5 years ago or so. I can't really remember when it was, but I was playing volleyball with them, and my friend was on the other team, and he was going up with this big spike to hit the ball down onto our side of the net. And I went up to try to block him, so I put my hands up, and he takes this big swing and winds up, and wham! He misses the ball, and he hits my hand instead. Now I don't know how big I look on the video. Maybe I look big to you. He's way bigger than I am, even right now. He's a big dude, and so he completely shattered my finger, broke it completely in half. And I remember looking down at it going, yeah, I think duct tape's not going to get this one. And so I had to be taken to the hospital, and they did all kinds of surgery and stitches, and then after they carefully had to piece everything back together. Then it was months of physical therapy afterwards, and my finger was completely broken. And I'm not a doctor, so there was no way I was going to be able to put my finger back together again after that. Sometimes there's just things in life that break that you and I can't fix, and sin is one of those things. The type of brokenness it creates between us and God means that we can't do anything to make that brokenness go away. We can't fix ourselves. And so back in the Old Testament, one of the ways that the people of God, who were known as the Israelites, were supposed to try to make themselves right with God was by following the 10 Commandments. And that's actually what we were singing about in the song earlier, and it was walking us through. Well, what were the 10 Commandments? But there's an important line in that song that sings, the 10 Commandments, no one can keep them all. That's why we need a Savior. Because God gives the 10 Commandments, and listen to the instructions that God gives to Moses to tell the people of Israel about how important the 10 Commandments were. This is in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verses 31 through 33. And it says this, "But you stay here with me, so that I may give you all the commands, decrees, and laws you are to teach them to follow in the land I am giving them to possess. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess." So God gives the 10 Commandments to Moses to give to the people of Israel. And he says, look, there's something about God's nature we have to understand. That God is holy. And holy is this word that means he's kind of like on another level. He's set apart from us. And so in order for us to be with God, we got to get on his level. We have to match his holiness. And because we're broken, there is no way for us to match God's holiness. So there's no way for us to live with God. And one of the ways, like we had just looked at, that God tried to make the people right with him was through giving them the 10 Commandments. And the Israelites, I mean, you're thinking, okay, 10's not so bad. Well, they couldn't even keep 10. And to make things worse, after giving them the 10 Commandments, God says, if you really want to know exactly how to live as you should with me, I'm going to give you even more laws for you to have to follow. And guess how many he gave them? 600. Now, I'm trying to think about whether my parents even had 600 rules at our house growing up, okay? And I can think maybe we'd have a bedtime we'd have to go to, we'd have to brush our teeth before we go to bed, we're supposed to be polite when we have guests over, maybe we have to eat all of our vegetables, we have dessert, maybe we're responsible for our laundry. I mean, there's things like that, but 600 rules? And God even told the people, if you break just one, then it's like you broke all of them. You could keep 599. And if you broke the 600, it was as if you had broken all of them all at once. And if you're one of the Israelites, you might be sitting there going, man, that just seems really unfair. Like, I'm a pretty good person. I do a lot of good stuff. Why are you going to penalize me if I'm able to do all this good stuff, but not just one? And the rest of the Bible talks to this. It actually gives an answer to this. It says that the reason God gave all the laws to the people was not so they would sit there with a checklist and go, okay, I did that. Oh, I did that. Ooh, look at me. I'm doing pretty good. I did 3 of these today. No, the reason God gave the law to the Israelites was to let them see there is no way we could live up to that standard of holy that God is. There is no way for us to fix our brokenness. And that gives us our main idea today, that you and I can't do anything to make us right with God. And God really takes being right with him seriously. In our memory verse, which is verse 32, God tells Moses this: "So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left." You see, God really wants us to be right with him. But throughout the Old Testament and the Bible, you see all of the kings couldn't get the people right. All of the prophets couldn't get the people right. We just, once we're broken, a lot of us, we really don't want to be right. We really don't want to have to put our branch on the vine. And God really does want us to be made right with him. So you and I are broken, and God made us to live with him. And because we're broken, we aren't currently living with him. And there's nothing we can do to fix our brokenness on our own. And if the story ended right there today, guys, then that would be like a waste of time, right? Because why would you listen to me talk about something that has no happy ending? Where's our happy ending? Well, this is not Disney, but there actually is a better ending. In fact, if you guys remember in our last video and at the beginning of this one, we said this is a really big question of how are we made right with God? How do I fix my broken branch? And the first part of the answer is it's not something you and I can do on our own. But there is a way that we can be made right with God. And that's what we're going to talk about in our next video. So stick with us. Hopefully I'll get to see you back tomorrow and we can learn about what does it look like for me to be made right with God.
Today we've been talking about the 10 Commandments and how we can follow them to live as a light for God. Today's memory verse is Deuteronomy 5:32. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or left.